Hey y'all, it is day 2 of me doing a live vlog. So I've literally been holding the phone in my hand for the last 30 minutes. I don't know why these things scare me so much. I don't know why live scares me. So today, I have epiphanies every day. I probably have them like several times a day. Things just pop into my spirit. I don't know. I think I'm very sensitive to the world. And I always think that there's a lesson in every single thing. So as most of you know, I am writing a book. I posted about this book a few days ago. So I'm writing a book, and I made it a goal at the beginning of this year, actually, to do this book. So my first deadline was March, and then March came around and I didn't do it. It wasn't finished. And then my next deadline was April, and then the next deadline was May, and then the next deadline was August. So I've missed it several times because, as you know, it's now September and I have not finished the book. And it's just the ebook, so it doesn't take long to do it, but I just keep dragging my feet. And I don't know, have you ever known that you were supposed to do something and that it was tied to you getting to the next level? Because that's how I feel about the book. And I've had that happen to me twice before. So you would think that, you know, why won't I finish the book? So I was listening to Tony Robbins a couple of days ago, and I love Tony Robbins. If you don't know his work, you should just get on YouTube and just watch some of his videos. And he talked about being certain, about certainty, and that sometimes, well, not sometimes, but people don't do things because they're not 110% certain that it's going to produce the results that they want, right? So that's why they don't do it. They don't believe that what they're doing is going to get them the results, so they don't do it. So I was thinking, well, dang, I know that this book is a God idea, but I'm dragging my feet on it, even though I know that this is the thing I need to do to get to the next thing, because I want to do public speaking. I don't know. I just feel like that's just the next phase of my life. I want to speak. That's just what I want to do. And it's like doing a book actually credentials you to do public speaking. So if I know all of those things are tied together, then why won't I freaking finish the book? So then it made me think like, well, then maybe my trust isn't where it needs to be in God, because he gave me the idea. So I have to be certain that this is going to work out. So I was thinking about that. So this has happened to me twice before, right? So last year I started a blog. You probably have never, ever, ever read the blog before, celeblocale.com, and it's fine. My feelings are not hurt. But it was right after I had gotten fired from the first job I got fired from last year. And I started this blog, and I was dragging my feet at first, but I just kept hearing God say, finish the blog, finish the blog. And I was like, nobody's going to read this stupid blog, but I'm going to just finish it because I want to be obedient to the Lord. So finish the blog. I promise you, 2 weeks later, I had an interview at Perez Hilton for a staff writing job. I didn't get the job. I interviewed for them about 3 times. They called me in twice. I interviewed for them 3 times, but I went from never ever writing anything to starting a blog and then to having an interview at Perez Hilton. So then after that, I started writing for another blog for free, and I just wanted to have more clips. And then at the beginning of this year, this was New Year's Eve. I am literally out celebrating New Year's Eve, and I get a message on LinkedIn, and this company is like, we need you to write for our site. We want someone with your expertise. And I had to think, what's on my LinkedIn? Did I lie? Because I don't know where they get that from. And lo and behold, that has been the job that I have had all year long. And it's crazy, just from being obedient to finishing that blog that nobody reads, and it was totally fine. And when I went into Perez Hilton, by the way, when I interviewed with this guy, I went into the interview, and on his desk were printouts of my blog. He had done screenshots and printed out and was like, I love your blog. I love the content. I love it. And I'm like, really? Because I just started it like 2 weeks ago. Another time that this has happened is when I decided to move to LA. And I got to the point where I felt like New York just wasn't stimulating anymore. And of course, if New York isn't stimulating, you should probably move. You should probably go somewhere else. But I was still like, I don't know, I don't know. And so I had a friend staying with me at the time, and she was like, well, what are the pros and cons? So I write them down, and I was like, I'm not stimulated in New York anymore. And then I was like, I really feel like if I stay here, I'm going to be being disobedient to God. And she was like, well, you don't even know. You don't need to go through the rest of the list because that's just it. And literally, when I did finally make the move, I just felt like everything just started to come together in a way that it hadn't been in the last few years that I had spent in New York. And so I thought about that story today. So if there is something that you're dragging your feet on, I get it. I get it. Because, I mean, especially after you've made so many attempts at doing things and it wasn't as fruitful and it didn't work out or nobody cared. If it is something seriously that God put on your heart, and I'm telling myself this too, do it. Just do it and just be obedient, because I don't know what this book is going to do. I don't know how it's going to serve people. I just know that my responsibility is to do what he told me to do. So I'm going to finish this book. It is September 2nd. I am going to give myself until Tuesday the 6th. I'm going to finish. I'm so close. I'm so close to finishing it. But be obedient. Don't even think about like why you're doing it, what's gonna come from it. But because I promise you, God just seems like when he puts his magic on it, it just takes it to a whole nother level. So just be obedient and put your trust in knowing that if he gave it to you, if he put it in your spirit, he's gonna do something with it for sure. So anyway, that was my epiphany for today. And thank you guys for tuning in. I'm going to get better at these. I probably should plan a time to do this, but I'm warming up. Anyway, be safe this weekend. And have a really great holiday. And I know everybody's going to be barbecuing, eating burgers and hot dogs. But honestly, if you got something that you're supposed to be doing, carve out an hour or two and just do a little bit of work, especially if you're like me, you're on the hustle, you're an entrepreneur, you're trying to get to that next level. Carve out a little bit of work on your purpose, because that's important. You need to work on your purpose. So be safe this weekend. Bye guys.